Hello, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm filming outside because I feel like outside gives more of my, let you guys see my energy and my personality more. Today, I don't like speaking about heavy subjects. I didn't want my channel to become that, but I think it has to. It's just a calling, basically. How can I say that? It's when you're black and a lot of things are already heavy, and sometimes when I'm on YouTube I don't want to watch heavy stuff, but at the same time I hate how spiritual YouTube doesn't talk about race, as if once you become spiritual, race isn't an issue anymore. And it is. You're still black, even if you're spiritual or enlightened. And I wanted to talk about narcissism and how I think white people are narcissists, or how I think the white race or the white group are a bunch of narcissists, basically. I'm not here, please, I'm not necessarily talking about people individually. I'm talking as a group. When white people come together, they act like a narcissist entity. So narcissism is a very serious thing. It's like a word you've probably seen on social media and you're like, narcissist, I'm a narcissist because I like taking pictures of myself. No, narcissist is like a personality disorder at this point. It's very real. Narcissist people are very good at manipulating people. They do it in such a subtle way that you can't even see it. That would explain why even some black people would have difficulty seeing white abuse against blackness or non-white people, because it's so subtle and sournois and mesquin, basically, in French. So yeah, narcissistic behaviors are a real thing. We're not only speaking about things you've seen on social media. So firstly, we have to describe what is narcissism, basically. Psychologists define narcissism as selfishness involving sense of entitlement, a lack of empathy, a need for admiration. It's often characterized as a personality type. Also, all of these traits, the white supremacy hits all of them. So that's why I feel comfortable calling them narcissists. As a race, you hit all these key points, you're narcissistic, period. Empathy, that's the number one thing for me, and that's the number one red flag. So these people, they can empathize with you if you're going through something hard. They're not gonna try to put themselves in your shoes. They can't, they're unable to. And white people, exactly that. They can empathize with black people or black struggle or non-white. You clearly see that the dots are not connecting. How can you lack empathy that much? When videos of police brutality goes viral, they're just yeah, but no, that they will find excuses because they can't empathize with us and try to understand why we're upset, because they can't. They're narcissistic. The second key is manipulation. Narcissistic people will manipulate the fuck out of you, and it will be so subtle that people will not see it. It's if you have a narcissistic parent, you know exactly what I'm talking about. The abuse is so subtle that when you're trying to get help or to just get out of a situation, it's hard to have words to even describe what you're dealing with, because it's so subtle. And to a normal person, or not someone who's aware of narcissistic behavior, they will not see it, and they will not even count it as abuse. They will turn anything we say to bring awareness to a struggle, or to to try to have a conversation. They will use that and turn it against us, basically. For example, if you have a narcissistic parent and you're like, oh, I can't do this today because I'm gonna be busy, I can't come to this dinner. The narcissistic parent will be like, really, you can't come? Well, I'm working 5 jobs and and I'm coming. What are you doing that's so important you can't come? Basically turning something that you were probably cared about, maybe I can't come to the dinner because I have something important. They will not take that into consideration. They will be like, well, everything is about them, basically. I'm doing this and I have 5 jobs, you should too, turning anything good into something bad. And white people do that in a way. Example, something recent happened on Twitter. White woman, or like Karen, is an equivalent to the N-word. It's like, no, they will turn everything you do, basically the Karen situation, they will, you know, take Karen and be like, well, it's an equivalent to the N-word, not trying to understand that why even called you Karen in the first place. They're gonna turn something you do, turn something you're trying to call out, and make it your own, and place themselves as the victim instead of taking accountability, basically. And the first way that white people manipulate us, except from like twisting things and victimizing themselves, is by gaslighting. That, like, let's say it again, gaslighting. That's like the key, like that's what they do best. For example, you'll be like, you know, like, I don't think we should, like, racism is bad right now. Like, you will try to have a conversation, like, racism still exists, you know, racial tension still exists. They will be like, well, slavery is over, racism doesn't exist, reverse racism, black people can be racist too. It's like they will gaslight everything you do. You'll be like, Black lives matter, all lives matter. You'll be like, we should denounce police brutality. They'll be like, well, blue, like, police are people. It's like anything you do, they will gaslight it and be like, no, what you're saying, the issue you have is not real, it's in your head. And that's when narcissistic people drive people crazy, because they make you think it's in your head. They make you question yourself. And the wounds that these leave are so big, because they leave people with lack of self-trust, self-confidence. You're in a constant state of like questioning everything in life. Like, if you have a narcissistic parent, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Even after you leave the abuse, you still like have to heal a lot of things and unpack a lot of things. Yeah. So no wonder that black people are still struggling to heal, because if you have a narcissistic parent, they will come into your room, they will go through your stuff without your permission, because for them, you're not basically a person. You're just like, they don't care about you, basically. So they're not gonna respect like your rights or a boundary that you're trying to set. For example, white people don't respect our boundaries by not, you know, respecting when we say, you know, I don't think you should wear braids because of, you know, that, because of this history, because of this historical, you know. They will not respect it. They will always cross that boundary, always trying to like provoke you, because they don't care. Again, because they lack empathy. And also they feel entitled, because they're like, I should be able to do that. Who are you to tell me I'm not? And if you try to be like you can't, they'll be like, well, reverse racism. And that's again a form of manipulation and gaslighting. You see how it's all I hope you're following me. I hope you're, because this is a call out, basically. Anyways, another way that they push our boundaries and they don't respect our boundaries is by another way is by, for example, what people going to HBCUs, historical black colleges in the US. It's like, you know that these are historical black college, you know the history, but you're still gonna go there because you feel like you have a right to, because you feel entitled, right? Because you don't respect your boundaries, right? See what I'm saying? Like, it's, yeah. And when someone doesn't respect your boundary, it's basically manipulation, abuse. And when you're constantly trying to like fight that, it's really exhausting mentally. Lastly, in narcissistic people, there's this pattern either of being the savior, the judge, or the person that controls everything. And we have these three archetypes in whiteness and in white societies. We have them that controls everything, the media, the TV, everything. They're on everything. We have the judge. I mean, the justice system is basically built for white males. I'm not gonna go like, at this one in 2020, it's everything we should know about, you know. It's like common sense. And the most important thing, the savior complex. We all know the white savior complex, going to Africa and being like, I'm gonna save you, you know, and not even being like, wait, I didn't ask for to be saved. Like, but they were like, no, you need saving. I'm gonna save you. It's like, but are you mad? Like, are you okay? You know? And lastly, with that, I want to say why I'm speaking about this. It's because in order for people to heal from narcissistic abuse, they first have to identify that it's narcissistic abuse that they're going through. If we acknowledge that, then we can take the steps, and people can now start to understand us when we're like, wait, something is wrong with the white and black dynamic. Like, something is wrong. It's like, but when you're in a narcissistic abuse, only you know. That's the hard thing. And people outside of it has difficulty knowing about it. Like, it's pretty self-explanatory. I feel like at first maybe I wasn't making sense, but by the end of this video, you're like, oh girl, I see what you're talking about. I see what we're dealing with. And there's this person I love on YouTube. I'm gonna put her name and you're gonna see it. She makes a lot of videos about narcissism, and what I like about her is that she also speaks about the spiritual aspect of it, because everything is spiritual and also physical, as above so below. Okay, so spiritually, her theory is that, you know, when narcissistic people abuse someone, the scapegoat, it's usually because they know that the scapegoat has a huge spiritual potential that can potentially help the world immensely. And if we apply that to a white and black dynamic, or a non-white and white dynamic, we can see that a lot of indigenous cultures, a lot of black cultures, well, black people are also indigenous, we have basically indigenous people, we have a lot of power, a lot of spiritual power, a lot of potential. I mean, black people are so strong. After all this abuse, we're still here. I mean, in my head, we're basically the Israel children in the Bible, if you think about it. So the Israelites, sorry, in the Bible. So yeah, so I'm gonna leave her videos in the description box, and if you want to check them out, check them out. I can make another video about how I think black people can heal from this narcissistic abuse that we're going through with white people. Let me know. And thank you for this video, for listening. This was an exciting video for me to do, because I'm someone who's opinionated in real life, and I love sharing that with everyone on YouTube. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.